Yeah, okay,
Right, so yeah, affordable housing monitoring report.
status report, okay. Um,
So it's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, so if you'll recall, those that were on the committee last year, I went through this exercise, and so basically the town's responsible for monitoring, a bunch of affordable housing that was established by, development review, conditions and approval. And so these are the ones that are monitored by the town. Uh, and there's several that are rental apartments, and there's a few that are owner occupied units. And the way that I did this was, I basically made up this pretty simple form. Send a letter out to the rental apartment owners, asking them to fill out the form, tell me what they charge for rent for each unit, and what the utilities, or what utilities the tenant is responsible for paying for. And then I enter it into a spreadsheet that has basically the current rent limits for affordable apartments, and the utility allowances, the current utility allowances, and it calculates whether they're in compliance or not. Some of these apartments also have income limits. Well, the only one that does is the Hamlet. So, the Hamlet also sends me information reports, basically the income of their tenants. They don't name the tenants, they just say, they just list them.
Where is the hamlet?
The Hamlet is north of any crossing, north, east, sort of, Madison Ave, Jake's Way,
No.
the streets with, and then
Mhm.
the one with, the apartment with the affordable units is on, my gosh, you'll find out. 'Cause
Okay.
But I can't remember. So basically, the story is that for the rental apartments, all of the affordable apartments are in compliance. In fact, many of them are charge lower rents than what is required. The affinity apartments that are required to be at 100% affordable at 100% AMI are, most of them by and large are affordable at 80% AMI. The Hamlet, a lot of those apartments are affordable at 60% AMI, so.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's, kind of
Yeah.
good news. Now for the not so good news. And that is, we have found that monitoring these owner occupied properties is extremely challenging. The ones, well, and I will be specific, the ones at Northridge, which is a development that was approved in 2018. It's been under construction since then. It's only 39 units, 39 homes, and 9 of those were promised as affordable at 100% area median income. So what happened with Northridge is that they started building these affordable units in beginning of 2022. And you know what happened to interest rates during 2022?
Yeah.
And of course, the whole post-COVID inflation and everything else, but so the first few yeah, basically the first, and let me back up here a second, because one mistake that we made is that the agreement with the developer basically stated that there's this affordability threshold, but the developer can sell the unit at the price that it costs them to build the unit. So towards the end of 2022, they ran into a lot of problems, building these units and managing their costs. So there's a few of these units that are above the affordability threshold and some significantly above. The current bylaw no longer has the provision allowing developers to sell a home at cost. They have to sell the home at or under the threshold for affordability. You know, the risk to that is that that's gonna be really challenging going forward, for a developer to do that.
Yeah.
You know, with Northridge, we're sort of stuck with what we're stuck with. With Summerfield, they are required under their development agreement, development terms, to build 42 affordable homes. So I think that is gonna be extremely challenging, because the development costs and construction costs are very high right now. I've heard, from several sources that it is not possible to build a home for under $500,000.
Yeah.
And I'm getting, you know, somebody from Evernorth said $375 per square foot. It's kind of like what we're looking at these days. So without any subsidy, it's really, really challenging. I mean, even if you're working with an affordable housing developer, they just got major federal funds cut,
Right.
almost 50%.
Yeah,
And so I heard a news stories, you know, someone was interviewed from Evernorth saying they don't even think they're gonna be able to build half of the affordable homes that they thought they would, if they wanted to.
What
So-
happens if interest rates go down?
If interest rates go down, that's gonna help a lot. Interest rates are, I mean, they really eat into
Yeah,
the amount of principal, you know, as you know.
yeah,
So yeah, right now they're about 7. They were at the beginning of 2022, they were around 3 or less than 3.
yep,
So, you know, that's a big part of
my
it. for
first house
sure.
we bought at 12%.
Oh, wow.
When they were
Oh,
in the
yeah.
80s, everything's are brutal, and you got
Yeah.
adjustable rates. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it is a huge cost. I'm not-
So I'll just jump down to these Northridge units, I'll cut to the chase here, but the 7 out of the 9 affordable homes have been built.
Mhm.
So you see this last one, it's like nowhere even close.
751.
Yeah, it's just not.
Do they have to provide open books, or how do we know? What?
Yeah, they, you know, this is another problem.
Right, they're
They
not
provide us with their documented costs and, you know, there's no way of really documenting them, you know, they provide
Right.
us a spreadsheet of their costs and. you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, it's possible.
It's possible, but
That's right,
you
but
know.
it's not verifiable.
yeah,
Mhm.
so yeah, so we've got maximum sale price. So these first few units came in under, well, 4, I think, came under, this one was pretty close,
Mhm.
but then these last 2 are just like,
Yeah, the ones in
Yeah.
2022 were the ones that were able to be
yeah.
closed, but
but
yeah,
those
this year have just, yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
no,
Yeah.
so we don't wanna make that mistake again, we're trying to, you know, again, the current bylaw doesn't have that provision, but I'm concerned about whether, the pending developments, in this chart here, whether those are actually gonna get built. Because it is, I would say, nearly impossible, and, you know, what can we do? We can encourage them to work with affordable housing developers, but again, you know, if the affordable housing developers are having trouble building what's in their pipeline
Yeah.
because of funding cuts, you know, that's
Mhm.
a problem.
Well, they have, you know, pretty much the same costs as the for-profit people.
Right,
Too,
they're just-
so it's, you know,
right.
and the for-profit people aren't really making huge, they don't have huge
No.
margins actually, so it's, yeah. pretty bad all around.
Yeah,
Melinda, do you think that like the difficulty with building affordable housing kind of ties into what I emailed to you about earlier?
refresh my memory, I'm sorry.
So I emailed Melinda about, in the current 2026 to 2034 budget, there's a provision. I'm just gonna pull it up.
You talking about Vermont or the Fed?
Well,
Town plan?
The town plan,
Looking
yeah.
at
Oh,
that.
the town, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a provision, 6.7.2, that says evaluate the need to establish rent control provisions. And I emailed Melinda about this, and my personal worries with that is that if we establish rent control provisions, that could really de-incentivize more production, like more building of affordable housing. Because on it, people could rent in other towns, you know, build in other towns or rent in other towns that don't have rental control in place. And I think it could really, with the issue that we're having with there being very low availability, by if we were to decrease the amount of rental availability, which unfortunately is becoming more of a need for people because it is so hard to buy homes. It could kind of have an opposite effect by decreasing the supply, increasing the demand, and then raising rent prices.
But all the affordable stuff though, or most of it that's built by affordable housing developers is funded through. Is rent control essentially, so the prices are controlled or the rent
It's
is
like this,
controlled.
this guy we just talked to, his rent is set at a third of his income. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's like CHT,
Right,
they rent and they keep, it has to be kept
Right.
perpetually affordable.
right,
So that is already sort of a rent control essentially.
right, but I think this policy looks to put rent control on all rental properties.
So
Yeah, just to clarify though, it's not saying go ahead and do this, it's saying evaluate the need for,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
that was brought up by
us,
somebody, maybe.
Yeah.
But evaluate the need for, and how I responded was not only that, but evaluate how the,
methods.
potential unintended consequences or
Yeah.
impacts it might have.
Yeah.
Cause I agree,
Mhm.
I agree
Yeah.
with you that
Yeah.
it could suppress, rental housing, but yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, you can control the amount that it can be raised, the percentage that can be raised over a certain period, or you can control, you know. The income level of the renters, how much can be raised and.
Yeah, in different parts of the country, where they do different things, and it's good to look at how, their experiences.
Yeah, I'm just afraid that like it would just like de-incentivize people to rent their homes. Or not build in Williston or build in other areas that don't have those rent control limits when we really need to, I think, build a lot more housing for people. And that's just like what I'm concerned with, you know. I've been a landlord and my parents have been landlords. I managed all their properties for like 10 years, and personally, we only increase the rent by what the actual increases on our costs are. Like if my HOA goes up $50 a month, that's all it gets raised by. And I would like to think most people are like that. And you commented that about
Not quite.
like some of the Williston apartments.
Yeah, right, that's what I was just saying
Yeah.
about how, even the ones that aren't affordable, they tend to be, I don't know, semi-reasonable, like, I mean, it still sounds expensive to have a $2,000 apartment, but I mean, technically, it's at the they're priced at the median, it tends to be market rate.
Mhm.
There's some though in Burlington though, there's been.
Oh, yeah, in Burlington.
COVID and all that, there was a lot of.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
crazy raising rents on people that.
Yeah.
Doubling rents.
Yeah.
50%.
But I mean, I think as we talk about our work plan for this next year, we could throw that in there if we wanted to study it and make recommendations.
Yeah.
Around that to the select board. I suppose they would be interested in our swaying in, but
Mhm.
I think our work plan for next year is on the agenda somewhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so. Do you guys have any questions about this report?
No, it's great. Thank you
No.
for this. It's good information.
So the final conclusion is essentially that we would try to encourage the accountability to be done by the owners.
Well, so the takeaway actually, Matt and I've been talking about this, is that. We don't even think that, I think. We would like to consider, like an amendment that. The bylaw amendment that would basically require anybody building affordable homes to work through. An affordable housing organization.
Yeah.
Instead of the town trying to kind of wrestle with it, because it's really untenable.
Yeah.
I'm finding
Oh,
out.
it's so complicated and
And
it's
it is.
it's crazy. Yeah.
So, I mean, and so I know why, like.
Yeah.
CHT would charge a lot of money to do that, because it takes a lot of time and
Yeah.
effort, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
they're pretty good though about, I mean, that's the thing about them is that they know where they can do things and they
Yeah.
know what things qualify. And it's a lot of these developers, they're building two. So
Right.
they can't really qualify for all the
Yeah.
federal money that's available, not
Yeah.
available anymore. But
That's not available, yeah.
It used to be available.
Yeah.
but they, you know, they know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Anyway. Okay.
Okay, so that'll be that.
All right, housing trust fund outreach update from staff.
Yeah, so, since your last meeting, I did reach out to some, service providers, about the housing trust fund. Someone, gosh, I can't remember her name. Someone from CVOEO reached right back out to me. And we kind of had an email exchange, and she said, well. Do you want me to I can let CHT know about this? And I said, great, yeah, let CHT and other, affordable housing, whatever, organizations know about it. So the word is getting out, and then hence this application. But I'm just trying to think like. Yeah, and then, the press release, but I don't think anything really. Came of it, I mean, there was that Observer article. And,
Yeah.
but nothing else that I've seen.
The service providers are the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they work with people that would.
Yeah,
need them.
and I also, who else was in there in the food shelf,
Yeah.
so, if you have any other ideas, like, I know we talked about a front porch forum posting, so. If anybody wants to drum up a little. Language for that, that would be really helpful, if you think that's still a good idea to do that, to put it out there.
Yeah.
Front porch forum.
Did you want to do it?
No.
I think we have our great writer here, right? Are you?
Yeah, may as well.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, was the CVOEO, were they gonna reach out to churches and?
Yeah, that was, they had
Um,
churches too.
Yeah, not churches, but we could, come up with a list
Yeah.
and send out basically the same blurb. to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Do you want me to post it as myself? I know that sounds like a weird question, but like, is there like, does the town have an account or?
You could post it as yourself if you want, I mean, I have an account, but it's, this person keeps wanting to enter, it's like,
Somebody's hacking you.
I don't know, it's a little bit strange. See.
Usually if you post something and put like town contact stuff,
So that's true.
The affordable
Yeah,
housing.
I'm gonna make it very clear.
If you don't wanna post things yourself, I can post it, you can send the blurb to me, I can post it.
I'm fine with it, I just didn't know if there was like a policy about
I don't think so,
anything.
I think like energy committee members send out posts, so if you know, you can send out a post and say, you know, if you want, say you're on the housing committee and.
Yeah.
Whatever,
I think you can put an email in there that would go to,
Yeah.
to them, whatever. Do we have a, go to the town?
you can put my email. As like a contact, you know, contact.
You bet,
Melinda's
gonna
got
send everybody your way.
that throngs of people.
All right, so the FY 26 work plan.
Yeah,
So this is where we kind of set our calendar.
So-
goals.
yeah, so what I did was, this is literally, I retitled it FY 26 work plan. And I took last year's, and what I did was I put in green the stuff that was done.
Mhm.
And then in yellow, the stuff that's sort of partially done or, you know, started, but.
I love there's a lot of green and then my name's on the right and I did nothing.
No.
That's
I
called,
didn't
that's
highlight-
called brilliant.
Oh, I
But yes, so
Um,
green means, yeah,
I
okay,
mean, you know, pretty much
yeah.
did that. You know, last year we had Melanie Needle map housing potential, and then, you know, we focused on the South Brownell area and some, and I can't remember the village a little bit, but mostly the South Brownell area, there were a few parcels of interest, and then I ended up reaching out to a few to the developers. I mean, the developer owned parcels that were highlighted, and had a little back and forth with at least one of them, so, you know, that was something.
Mhm.
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna do any more, but. I think part of the issue on South Brownell, those parcels, is that they were in the Commerce Street Plume, the Superfund study.
Yeah,
And
that-
that, I mean, that is like beginning in like 2022, the remediation work really sort of ramped up. And I think it's almost like done, but you know, it's always challenging to develop on a parcel with brownfield contamination. So.
So can you go ahead and scroll down just so you can kind of get
Yeah.
the overview feel of it, we can
Sure.
go back through.
Yeah,
So we did a lot of work on the housing trust fund, that's looking good.
yeah,
And the ADU stuff.
and yeah. And then okay, so the one thing that wasn't really touched was the local employers, that kind of thing, so.
Mhm.
Is there a good amount of outreach going on about the ADUs? So that people are aware of like the zoning changes and like,
It's a fair question.
Yeah, so,
We did an observer article.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have an event in the fall.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe this is something also that can go out on Front Porch Forum.
Yeah.
Just like make people more aware
mm,
of it. Now, personally, I live in an association, so this probably wouldn't be an option to people in associations, they need association approval to do anything like that, but people who own single family homes.
right.
Yep.
And you know, one thing I thought of was. I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of associations in Williston. And. I guess I would almost assume that none of them. I mean, but it would be, again, good to research the covenants and see. But I would, I would sort of assume that probably none of them allow ADUs.
Well, our neighborhood has one house, they put an addition on, so it's not
Really.
separate, but
Mhm.
it's been there for
But-
But it
Yeah.
might be worth looking into, just like, I remember Jericho was saying that they were looking at all their homeowners
Right.
associations, and then some of them required 20 acres or something,
Yeah.
so going back to them and going like, do you really
Yeah,
wanna do this?
Yeah.
I live in one of the largest associations in Williston. It covers, South Circle, Cousin Court, I forget the other road, Reed Road.
yeah,
And I could, find out what their, attitude is about it.
yeah, I mean, if you can get a hold of like the
Mm.
covenants or whatever,
Yeah.
and I can. Dig in the land records and see what I can, kind of do, it would be interesting to kind of do some research and. And kind of find out what the rules are for each association related to AUs and.
Might be something if we were doing this thing in the fall, to even just have like, here's a list of things that you might have in your homeowner association that you might be interested in changing. It's not allowed anymore to prohibit hanging out laundry. It's not allowed anymore to prohibit blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And just, there's some things you might think about changing, and that could be one of the ones on the list.
I would like to say about my association, they are very against renters. They have very tight rental restrictions that really limit. How many units can be rented beyond, much less than what their insurance allows. Because of. I don't know, their attitude towards renters, I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
Mm.
It's unfortunate.
Mm.
Well, and that was, we heard from Jericho, they were doing a bunch of sort of little
Yeah.
things here and there to ask people, well, what if it was your, son that wanted to move into your neighborhood and in an ADU, or what if it was your neighbors, whatever, and kind of getting people to reframe how they, to think about, not this
Right,
gray
Yeah.
mental figure out there, but, something
so
that they were finding that had helped.
So I actually like that idea. I mean, more so than local employers, I think checking covenants is a good thing.
Mhm.
I mean, the other thing I'd throw out there is that, I've been thinking a lot about, well, like infill. I mean, a big fan of infill. And we've talked about ADUs, but I really come to believe that you have to be pretty affluent to put an ADU in. If we look at our average homeowners now, well, we know from the needs assessment that our average household size is 1 or 2, our average house is 3 or 4 bedrooms. And we also know we're older. So we have a bunch of people that have been in place for a long time and they want to age in place. I mean, an ADU means that you retain control of your land, but you have to put a couple $100,000 into this
Right.
thing.
Right.
Very expensive. I mean, subdividing, selling off 0.2 acres of your backyard would probably help you age in places, probably a little more attainable for a lot of our homeowners. So the focus there might be there, or also subdividing current homes. So taking your house and making it a duplex or a triplex. So I'm actually thinking, and even if you're an elderly homeowner and you want to help your next generation, your kids, in the first scenario, you have to fund the whole thing. In the second scenario, if you subdivide your backyard, they can get their own mortgage, presumably if you have kids in their 30s or something, they can qualify for a mortgage and bring in some of the money there. So I really think there's more potential in the latter two solutions, subdividing homes or subdividing lots. And the other argument is that ADU, there's a lot of great ADU information that's out there. So if someone starts Googling for Vermont, there's 3 or 4 towns that have done lovely informational kinds of things. And there's some tweaks for Williston. So I'm sort of leaning towards those other two solutions. Then if you think about them, I think you have to think about like, what are the builders? Like Champlain Housing Trust, like only builds 40 units or more. Habitat for Humanity will build smaller, but like if you have that kind of situation where say maybe you had an acre and wanna do something with your backyard.
Mhm.
You know, who are the builders that, at that price point, or who, you know, what are the resources? I don't think that.
Frameworks,
Well, they're really expensive.
they are.
Oh my
Mhm.
God,
Really?
they're astronomically expensive. Yeah, I have
Huh.
now dipped my toe back into the AD
Oh,
waters.
I thought the septic system.
Well, I'm
Shut you
trying to
down.
get, I know, I went back to the engineer and,
Mhm.
and
Huh.
so I live in the rural part of Williston, and it's much easier if you have, town water and, sewer, to get the permissions that you need to, add an ADU. So I have set my own septic, my own well, and getting the permit is, I mean, I don't know, he calls me every 3 days going, well, it's looking good, and then he goes, this, but there's this, that, and then in 3 days later, he calls me, well, now it's looking really bad, because the state requires, the casing of this, that, and the other for the well, and the setback for the leach field, and that, I mean, it's just, and so I started looking, I talked to the people at New Frameworks and got them to send their, I mean, they are really expensive. Like
This is a prefab house or a prefab?
well,
ADU?
they have the like the materials for, for the
Okay,
house.
Okay,
For the building materials, and they're all very environmentally friendly and everything. This is their big thing. And I mean, they were like, I don't, I can't remember the exact numbers, but they were well over 200 or 1,000, almost close to like 300,000. Some of it, like 900 square feet. It was like a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm also looking at manufactured homes. That's the other way to go. Like Beans Homes is really recommended. Anyway, I don't know.
So that might be another avenue, like if you were gonna do a workshop,
right,
to kind of, maybe do some research on what the companies are out there that do manufactured housing, and maybe have, one
Yeah.
or two come and present or share their information or whatever.
mhm.
Yeah.
Who's that wheel pad guy?
The wheel pad guy. For.
What is that?
Was he in
Oh,
Melbourne, is that guy?
I'm not sure where he lives. RJ Adler. His company is Wheelpad. They make, essentially, I think it's like a small, a small ADU that can be, they started out doing like an additional for somebody with a disability that needed access. So you could add onto your first floor, you could have this, not really even an apartment, but like a bedroom, bathroom, something outside that you could then attach to your house in some way.
Mm.
But now they have like, it's developed, he's got some that are more like a studio or so you could bring it in, it could also be taken out, I think it's something, if you didn't want to keep it for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, that's just to say that my thinking has really shifted, and I
Yeah.
do think there's good information on ADUs that other towns have done or other regions. Because we've looked at some of those.
Well, and there are still like state grants, so, and if so you get an outright grant if you will, rent your ADU to somebody you don't know. And it has to fit all the fair housing things and all the affordable criteria. Or if you are gonna do your ADU for a relative, which is what I'm trying to do, you can get a 10-year forgivable loan. So for 10 years, you have to report that, yes, my mother is still living in my.
Okay.
And you have to keep doing that every year, and then at the end of the 10 years, they'll forgive the $50,000.
But that's not VHIP,
Yeah, that's me.
it doesn't have to just be a relative.
No, I'm saying you
could be.
you have, yes, if you rent to a stranger, you have to, you have to fit all these criteria for, how low your rent is and everything, yeah. Right, and then that you get a grant, yes, I said that, yeah, but if you wanna put a relative in it, you can't get the grant, you have to get the forgivable loan. So, yeah.
Okay.
But those are still here and funded.
But they are still available, yes, that's.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's
so,
good news.
yeah.
State funded, I'm pretty good.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, anyway, but make things easy. I mean,
No.
talk about, we talk about, oh, we're having this affordable housing crisis and we need to do everything we can to build more units. And then when you actually like sit down and you try to figure out how to do it, it's not, it's not that easy.
It's mostly aimed at rehabbing
Mm.
units that have gone into decay and therefore helping landlords to
Yeah,
bring them up to
renovate them,
speed
yeah.
so they can be used for and rented again.
Mm.
It was the kind of the original.
Yeah, for rehab, yeah, that's true, yeah.
So I'm hearing two things we wanna think about in the upcoming years, that there's this general communication thing.
Mm.
Which could either be around ADUs or this kind of thing that I just talked about, and then there's homeowners covenants. Is there anything else we wanna dig into in the upcoming year?
Well, we talked about the rent control discussion
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
and that the accountability for affordable, is that something we would look at, or is that?
Well. What did I feel like I started to, I had a thought about that, oh, yeah, I think it's just.
It'd be an amendment. to bylaws,
It'd be a
so-
bylaw amendment, we could,
We
we
could
could
speak
work
to
on it, speak to it, and we're probably gonna do a bunch of bylaw amendments. This fall,
Already.
already, right
you guys
after
are
we
like,
pick up the plan, because we have to
Right.
fix all the references and all that other stuff, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see that as being like a big thing.
Right,
But a small
I
thing.
just didn't know if we were supposed to be doing something about it.
There was also a topic that the select board actually brought up yesterday. That was in the plan. And that was, let me find it, okay. Section 6.10.1, and it was evaluate the feasibility of establishing services in task corners. Such as a day station and or overnight shelter in partnership with Chittenden County Homeless Alliance. The Howard Center and other service organizations. This was brought up, what's the chair of the select board name, Ted?
Getty.
Ted Getty?
I mean, yeah,
So he actually brought that up. And what he thought, what he brought up was that, he has a very like, ingrained, mental health history with his family. And what he thought was if the town of Williston adopts this, creating a homeless shelter, creating the center for, people experiencing homelessness, that the state is gonna kind of just be like, what he said, like, few, and not, and kind of let the town of Williston handle this instead of letting the state handle this, and he really thinks that this is a state issue. And I agree with him, because I met with Senator Kesha Hinsdale about this issue specifically yesterday. And she represents Chittenden County, she represents Williston. She is working very intensely on this issue, with, homelessness and housing. And next year, I will personally be working with Senator Hinsdale and Jenny Lyons, who runs, the healthcare portion of the state, and we're gonna be hoping to create outlets, that not only help with homelessness, but also help people, get the resources and the mental health, help that they need. So I kind of agree with him on that stance, that this should be run under the state. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job. So far, they're doing a lot of stuff with Home Share Vermont. And we're gonna be working on this really intensely next year.
So I thought they just decided though that they weren't, the state is gonna put it out to like CDOEO and those.
Yeah, the governor has not been at all supportive of that policy, and so for the whole time he's been in office. They've done everything they possibly can to push it back down to the local level.
And that was the final, that was the bill this year.
Yeah.
They were gonna
Yeah.
put it out to the agencies or the groups.
I spoke with Kesha yesterday, she didn't mention that. So I guess.
It's essentially it'll end up being the same kind of thing, that they are kind of putting it out to the towns or the regions. So they're gonna use the existing organizations around their CAP, I can't think of what it stands for. Around the state that have already been doing some of this, and they're trying to take the state out of it and put it out so that the money would go straight to those organizations, and they would essentially manage it for their area, more attuned to what their area needs is the phraseology they're using, but yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
how it works.
I need to talk about all of the things going on in Burlington. There's a lot of changes being made really on a very acute level. In Burlington, and so, and that's primarily kind of where the focus is. Right now, but Burlington is working with the state. On some of these issues.
Well, yeah, so, but I still think it would behoove Williston to try to be proactive about, looking into what could we do, in terms of services and. Yeah, because Burlington is now playing catch up because they didn't do, they haven't adequately, prepared for the big problem, that they have. And I just would like for us to be more out in front of the problem, but yeah, I know, yeah, Keisha and Jenny are both great people, and I know that they're trying hard, and a lot of people in the legislature are, but it's still it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, it really is.
So, and where's the money gonna come from? Because that's a
Right.
big, huge thing too.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that it was in the town plan, but I feel like if it is, then we should probably be thinking about it, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Adding that.
Well,
I mean, we
it's
could-
Johnson's head. I'll have to have a little conversation with them.
Yeah, so
There's a lot in the town plan that's not.
There is a lot in the town plan that did come up last night. I think Ted. I mean, he was very forthcoming about it, sharing his experience, et cetera. And he said, the reason that I'm doing this is I don't want to seem like I'm not supportive of,
Right.
Services for the homeless, but he's basically just saying I think. Yeah, I think that.
It's such a complex issue. It's
Yeah.
so difficult.
We're working on what is
Yeah.
gonna be the answer more.
Yeah,
More housing built.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That allows there to
Yeah,
be affordable housing at
Right.
the lowest levels.
You know-
And that takes care of the homelessness.
I mean,
But
this is gonna sound really
go for it.
naive and silly almost, but. I mean, even really simple thing, like. Trying to get organizations to allow people to stay in their parking lots at night or something,
yeah.
Oh, I know, yeah, they
It's a
defeated that
right.
in Burlington, I was so
Yeah.
curious.
They didn't put it out. That they decided it within the select board.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. the
And
city
didn't
council.
get any input.
I know,
Like,
I know.
I mean, even if it's just
Yeah.
informal, maybe some churches would be
Yeah.
amenable
Yeah.
to say.
Well,
Right.
And where can we set up
Yeah.
a day station where people could at least go
Right.
take showers and have.
Yeah.
We need more mental health professionals.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
Vermont. And
That's true.
Vermont actually does a
Yeah.
phenomenal job at recruiting them, believe it or not. Vermont has a program, I'm sorry, I'm going a little off track, but if you live and work in Vermont as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, which is what I'm studying, they will pay all of your loans, $50,000, to live and work in Vermont. For every year that you're there to help recruit. There's a major shortage. Did you know that there's only one inpatient adolescent mental health provider in the entire state? That's sad.
Yeah. Yes, yep, yeah, no, it's all related, you're absolutely right.
Of course, they also
Yeah.
don't pay
That's-
the tuition for anybody doing disability work.
Mm.
We won't go into
Yeah, that's a state issue.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's your issue. Yeah. That's right.
all right, so do we have,
Um,
Do you want this back?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I don't
To
think it
just
should be
so they're not
floating around.
floating around. But sure.
I mean, we
Do
can't
you,
even.
do you want, also speaking of work plans, do you want certain guest speakers to come? Would you, is there?
Oh, yeah, I actually have one. Let me look at-
Oh, to our
Your
meetings.
meetings?
Yeah, there's a guy who has a newsletter, Jonah Richard.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, the builder.
Yeah, brick and mortar. He builds in rural Vermont, has a newsletter about
Mhm.
how hard it is. But he might be interesting to talk to in the context of, we would like to support infill builders
Mhm.
and how could we do that?
Yeah,
So
that's
he's
nice.
got a really small company and
He's been very successful.
yeah, he's gotten some grants, but yeah, he builds like 8-unit affordable housing in
These small towns.
Fairview or something like that. Anyway, yeah, in very,
Yeah.
very rural areas.
Okay, Jonah Richard.
Yeah, I can send you the link to
Yeah,
him.
that'd be good.
But I think he might, if we have this focus around subdividing lots and subdividing houses.
Yeah.
He might be interesting
Mhm.
for us.
Yeah, I think you're really right about, I meant to say about the subdividing,
Mhm.
and that, yeah, you're right, cause yes, just for somebody to build an ADU, you have to have money, or you have to be able, in a position where you wanna take out another mortgage. And you may be, older and like you've already paid off your mortgage, you
Yeah.
don't really wanna take out a new mortgage. Or you make an arrangement for the rent that you have, or your relative, if you're putting your relative in, to be the one to pay,
Mhm.
pay the mortgage, but it all has to go through the homeowner, so. you're
Right.
Subdividing it does remove, make it one step removed, so it can come from
Yes.
somewhere else.
So like,
Yeah.
I could see, if you're like doing a workshop that's focused on infill and
Mhm.
subdivision, small lot subdivisions.
Mhm.
Like, of course, town staff can speak to the regulations and the regulatory process that you have to go through. We can also speak a little bit to water and sewer, on town versus off town, water and sewer issues. And
I'll
what
send
you
him to
do.
Debbie if they're on.
And
And
then maybe, I sort of see, what if, we invited somebody, maybe Jonah, maybe he'd be willing to come
Mhm.
and present at this workshop. Small builder like that, small town. And then maybe even having like an interactive thing where you have like a few different examples of potential infill lots, you don't tell, you don't like identify them.
Right.
And then you have like tables of people sort of designing. How to do an infill project there and I don't know, have some parameters. Establish some parameters around that. I don't know, it's just an idea.
No, yeah, make it more interactive.
Floating ideas, but.
Yeah, the other group that I kind of follow is Live Near Friends. No, they're not in Vermont. But they're a network, they're maybe in 10 states, but they're a network of real estate agents. But what you do is you get friends that you want to live with, like maybe we're gonna buy something and subdivide it. So I want a 1-bedroom, and maybe there's a family and they want 3 bedrooms or whatever. And they mostly do it in cities where you're dividing really large properties. But these realtors are trying around setting up those homeowners, like condo agreements, right? If you're gonna share a building, you have to have some kind of legal agreement, but also helping them find the kinds of properties, but also helping the group kind of get together and decide what their requirements are.
Mhm.
So they're out of state, but I could see if they might, well, 2 things, I could see if they talk with us about, how it goes and.
Do you remember what was the name of?
Yeah, it's called Live Near Friends, another one,
Is it sort of a co-housing kind of thing?
yeah, I mean, you know what, I'll look up some information and see if I can find. I mean, they have a bunch of stuff here about why you would go with their specific real estate agents. But kind of what the steps are. Well, here's a link, check out our guide, how to pick a realtor if you want to live near friends. So it may be more around the realtors. having specialties are about it.
Mhm.
I can look up some more information and send it to you, but it's an interesting idea, so that would be around subdividing a house, so if you get two or
Oh, I
three
see. Like a
couples
duplex.
or friends or whatever. To go in together on a house.
Okay.
You start your own commune.
Gen Z dream,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can name 40 people who want to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the co-housing thing is popular, and that would be a good
Yeah.
infill kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
but it isn't done long enough.
Yeah, and just how do you set it up?
There was one thing I thought about, I don't know if it's on this list, Vermont has had devastating flooding the last 3 summers in a row. I experienced water damage in my house last year, not flooding, and I was out of my house for like almost a year. It was horrible. Um,
And here in Williston.
it was an outside issue. It had to do
Oh.
with the placement of my house being on a hill, water coming into my finished
Oh
basement.
dear.
It was horrible. I got all this mold. Thankfully, the association handled it. But I've had family members, that have been out of their homes destroyed. It's just horrible. And then I spoke with my HOA about adding, um, flood insurance. Just making sure like, you know, if this was to impact us, like it impacted Barry and other areas, that people's homes would be protected. Is there anything in place with the town? Like, you know, that, would just protect these people's homes, or, I mean.
Well, there's the
Or-
national flood insurance.
Yeah, but,
It's also national.
yeah,
Insurance is, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
I know that would be costly.
Yeah.
That's. the
Yeah,
problem.
I know it'd be
People don't-
costly.
90% of people don't purchase it, and that's why you have.
I looked into it just for my home, and I was surprised it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was like 2,000 something,
But are you in a floodplain?
what not?
Yeah.
So that's what people are,
I
either
know,
should and are in floodplains and then don't
yeah,
because it's so expensive because they're living in flood.
Yeah, but no, the town doesn't, currently have them.
I think if you're not in a floodplain, it's not that expensive.
is it required, like, if you're in a flood zone, are you required, or houses required to have flood insurance if you're in?
No.
I know that's something they did, you know, my family, they got hit hard, down the Jersey Shore after Hurricane Sandy, and they were out of their homes. Now everyone down the Jersey Shore has to get, flood insurance,
Yeah.
which that sucks, but it's honestly, I think, for people's best interest. Do we know if there's any flood zones? in Williston?
There's not, it's not a real big issue. There are some flood zones, but it's mostly farmland. There aren't very many structures or homes that are in flood zones.
Mhm.
You know, maybe a handful, but,
We don't really allow building there.
we don't, yeah, our
Mhm.
bylaws don't allow
Okay.
any structures to be built in floodplains.
That's good.
So it's been that way for,
I wonder if anything will change though with all the environmental changes that we're seeing.
yeah,
Yeah.
undoubtedly,
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to.
yeah.
Did you see that camp in Florida where all the deaths were that they had,
Oh,
Got-
I thought Texas.
I'm sorry, Texas, yeah, where they had effectively worked to get out of the flood designation, like
Horrible.
They
they,
appealed their.
yeah,
their
they paid so
children.
much legal fees to try to skirt the law, which is, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so we don't have to finish this tonight, right? We can.
No,
We can
We can remake the.
we can think about it and see
Yeah.
if and revisit it, but.
And you can also, I think there's, you can make suggestions on this, so you can actually, the link takes you to this
Okay.
document. So if you wanna make suggestions, feel free.
Okay.
Well, I'll add
And
my notes
it'll
on the things.
be messy for a while, and then we'll, kinda
Edit and clean up.
clean it up, whatever,
Can I toss a name into the pot?
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
I don't know anything about them other than their about page on the website. Maybe y'all are familiar with Green Mountain Timber Frames.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name.
Okay, they like dismantle old barns and then build houses or additions using that wood. It's like a salvage material.
That's cool, yeah,
That'd be really helpful.
that's good, yeah.
Cause we've talked a lot today about how expensive it is to build things. So
Mhm.
Well,
maybe that's cheaper.
Yeah.
lumber is outrageously expensive.
Okay, well, that is definitely a good start. The other thing I always kind of forget about, but, maybe at the next meeting, if you wanna carve out a little bit of time to do the annual report for this past fiscal year, we can work on that.
It's like a paragraph or two with the,
Yeah, it's like,
so we kind of take all of this. And,
yeah, sure,
and put it in paragraph form.
yeah,
Well, it probably has to be someone who was here.
yeah, I can probably like,
I think that's
Or-
done, probably.
yeah, or if anybody wants to, I don't know, if anybody wants to start on it, that's fine, or I can do a draft to start bringing something to. Yeah,
It's just the green and yellow stuff and kind of
pretty much.
building it out.
Yeah. Wonder what JBC would do.
Oh.
Scary.
But no, you definitely did a lot last year, so.
That's nice to see.
Does it even say, oh yeah, yes.
Can you bring the agenda back up?
Yes.
The fall workshop is the next thing.
All right, well,
Jumped around it a bunch.
so the agenda, the location,
I think we can get town hall, so here's the thing about the dates. The 29th is the regional housing convening date, and I know some folks like to go to that. I don't necessarily have to go to it, but, it's a conflict. I mean, people that would attend the workshop wouldn't be people who are going to the meeting, but if you guys would rather not have it on that night, then I would suggest another night.
Can you do me a favor and send when the committee meetings are? I have all different dates.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
They should be
So not these two
it's the
days.
first Wednesday
of the
is,
month,
Yeah,
usually,
usually.
today was,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
4th of
4th of
July.
July. So what happened to the 22nd of October?
the 22nd, I have energy committee meeting.
Okay,
And the 15th was that other,
so
15th is an option, or if you wanna push it to November, November. Let's see,
are these Wednesdays that you're looking?
these are
Yeah,
Wednesdays,
Wednesdays.
not that Tuesdays are pretty much out for me, but. Thursdays are a possibility, as well.
How about the rest of town staff? Is Wednesday a good day for them?
I think it could be, yeah, there is word of changing the planning commission nights to Wednesday, but I don't think that's gonna happen for a while. But, yeah, October, I think that might be getting too close to Halloween.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, would Thursday be a possibility for anybody? For
Yeah.
You guys?
yeah.
So there's the 23rd. Or,
Wait, what's wrong with the 15th? Did we veto that? I missed it. No.
No,
Okay, okay.
that's, yeah, that sounds possible.
okay,
Yeah, that works.
15th works for me.
I will not be able to physically attend.
oh, yeah, cause,
I'm getting surgery on my foot.
Oh,
August 21st, I'm not allowed to walk for 2 months.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
fun times. This is the second time I've had to go through this.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
I
what,
can go on Zoom.
Okay,
or the 23rd,
Mhm.
that's the Thursday.
Thursday,
20, I think even when I'm allowed to walk, it's very, very,
yeah, you'll have to sit
slow.
up.
Yeah,
very gradual.
Also,
Well,
I'm thinking this would be like a event and we would have something interactive for people to do and then have like some of these other people do tables or gives.
So,
A presentation there.
yeah, so like. Yeah, and I realized I was supposed to sketch out an agenda for this meeting, and I did not do that. I apologize.
Some
But
of
it's in my
that's
head.
on Europe.
But I kind of see it like, this is a suggestion, feel free to. You know, toss this out if you want. So you could do like, okay, we're talking about, infill on small lots and, kind of do the overview. Tonight, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And then maybe start with, having town staff kind of go over just in a real, very general way, the process and some of the regulatory things, then have a guest speaker, maybe like a builder, like you said, talk about, some of their, show off some of their projects, talk about how they approach, what their approach is, not getting too much into the weeds. And then maybe do a breakout exercise with where you're actually designing, small lot subdivisions, just like establish certain parameters, okay, like, I mean, I can't off the top of my head really think of it. I know this is something that I did like in a workshop at I think it was maybe the Vermont Development Conference or something, but figure out some kind of interactive and then come back together and kind of, okay, like talk about, the designs and maybe have also printed resources for people to take.
Yeah, you'd wanna have like sort of parameters. Actually, that'd be good because if you had sort of, well, you can do this, this and this, can't do this, this and this, then they get the sense of.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, and maybe you're only like.
I think on subdividing houses, maybe an architect's helpful. If we want someone to say, I want an aging place and I love my front bay window and, whatever, but I need a main floor. Bedroom. And I need wheelchair access, but how might I divide the house? So I don't know if there's any architects that.
Yeah, we also talked about an engineer, and then we also talked about having the homeowners that I've contacted,
Right.
they would come. And then we talked about having, the, ACCD VHIP, but I already reached out to Alex Farrell, the commissioner.
yeah,
He's on parental leave at the moment, but he'll be back in
Okay.
August. So,
yeah,
personally, I'd rather hear from more people and have less interactivity, cause
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, people don't know exactly what they're gonna do, right? I mean, but they're just, they're gathering, information,
The one that we went to in
Shelburne.
Shelburne,
Shelburne, yeah,
they had like 2 or 3 homeowners.
yeah.
right,
1, 2,
maybe
Two.
two, I don't know.
and then a builder and then the town person.
And
So then
pizza.
they sort of
Yeah,
presented.
yeah, food is very important.
Yeah, definitely feed people.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was mostly, it was aimed at the either ADUs or
I think it was,
duplex.
yeah, it was ADUs and duplexes, but it's
Yeah.
really focused on ADUs. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I thought they had a good format, it was.
Cause then they had time for questions
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah, questions,
They,
yeah.
it didn't,
That's good.
the town zone person or whatever,
zoning administrator, the plan.
and then the builder were kind of a good. People to ask questions because people weren't getting as specific as I would,
Mhm.
this kind of entry and this kind of thing, which doesn't apply to anyone else in the room.
Yeah.
So it was kind of. You could, they were asking questions that were a little more general that could apply to other people
Mhm.
and that was only like the last 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So but before that, the people that had the ADUs kind of spoke about their experience.
Mhm.
I just wanna flag that October 23rd, there's no school in the district, and then the 24th is conferences. I don't know
Oh.
if that's going to affect people's schedule.
Yeah, so maybe the 15th, if that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
15th.
So,
The 15th, not the 1st.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, but we
Well,
might have a meeting. on
yeah,
the
we would
first.
Oh, this is
Me-
this is not.
Yeah,
the-
this is the event. This
the
is the
workshop.
workshop.
Workshop,
event.
Oh,
not
okay.
our
Yeah.
meetings. Our
Yeah.
meetings will still be.
Our meetings will still be on
Yeah,
the
so
first.
those
Okay.
meetings, yeah. first.
Yeah.
Nothing like coming in and having to pick up all the pieces.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, yeah,
And if
so
you
it's,
had. I mean, if you had an architect or a builder, probably
Yeah.
Mhm.
answer the way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Should we take the 15th to potential participants, and then depending on how many of them are free, the 20th is our backup?
And that would be.
Cause it sounds like
Yeah.
participation from all these people is pretty integral to what we wanna do that night, right?
Yeah,
yeah, true,
unless they can, well, like when I wrote to the commissioner, I said, you or your designee, I mean,
Okay.
pick somebody from the staff, I guess, you know, he doesn't have to come yourself.
right, I mean, we could just. You know, I think there's probably subs that could fill in, you know, there's like different builders or different,
So what are we thinking Alex would do?
Talk about the vehicle program, getting money from doing the. He's very keen on it. He's very inspiring when he talks about it.
and then. Did you wanna reach out specifically to those homeowners that you?
Yeah, yeah, I've already flagged it for them, but no, we have more. Accuracy in the date, I will reach back out to them.
Right, and then, yeah. Okay, yeah, why don't you start with that, and since I gave you that list, there are more ADUs, so I could like, if those don't pan out, I could,
Okay.
you know.
We're getting
give me
more
some
ADUs?
Yeah, I mean, there's been, you know, a handful,
That's good.
so, yeah,
Do you know people's intentions with them? Are they gonna rent them out or?
no,
You don't really go into
I
that.
didn't interview them.
Yeah.
That's my,
I
that's
would
my
love to
job.
build an ADU, by the way, if my association would let me, cause I'm starting,
Uh,
I need to get a bigger home. You know, I just got married and wanna have kids and, you know, buying a house is like a lot. So if I could build on
For
my own,
sure,
that would
yeah.
be so great.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
research those
Yeah.
covenants.
Yeah.
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 All right, well, we made some progress on that one. Other business.
So. Let's see, I went to a meeting, a follow-up meeting of the thermal energy networks, and they're asking if anybody from the housing committee is interested in that and would like to, kind of be or, well, I should ask in general, is the housing committee interested in this? And if not, fine, but they were definitely looking for participation from someone to represent the committee, if the committee is interested in this.
Well, I like the whole idea about it and everything, but I don't need another meeting. I don't wanna be,
You know,
I don't wanna be the rep. But I do, I mean, I totally support them and I've talked to
Yeah.
some, since then and they're just, they're rabid.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like what they're doing, but I feel like we already have a pretty big
Oh,
path
well,
here.
yeah.
What if we just said, could you come and report to us periodically?
Yeah, like, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
twice a year or something.
Yeah, sure.
We'll switch the responsibility.
That's it. That's it. There you go.
Okay.
Well, because we're not really charged with being
No.
involved on that kind of,
Yeah.
and it's a great idea and everything, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I am, passing their request on to you and,
Yep.
You're the mediator.
respectfully hear your.
Now we have a response.
Your response.
All right, so there's another public hearing on August 19th.
Yeah,
Plan.
second town plan, public hearing.
I'm gonna go to that.
Thank you, Courtney, for coming last night.
Welcome.
Is there anything we're supposed, like you think we should be speaking to?
I think, so last night, it was actually a good turnout. There wasn't, there weren't hundreds of people, but there were,
I'd say
I
like
know.
30 something.
yeah,
Okay.
there were
No, that's
a good
good.
number of people.
Yeah, and the whole right side was full.
Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe a handful of people got up to speak about, either their support or and their suggestions for what they wanted to see, et cetera. So it's good. And I think the August hearing, I hope is just gonna be performative and like the select board had some really minor changes that they want to see, like really minor sort of, language wordsmithing type of stuff. So we're gonna do that, and then we hope that in August, at the August meeting, they will have public hearing and adopt it. She will go to adopt it, so. But come if you
So you
want.
feel like there's good support for housing and it's not like we
Yeah,
need to make sure that those voices are out there. It's pretty well understood.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Well, that plan does represent a lot of work, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Chapter 6 kind of goes over a lot of the housing stuff on there. And if
Yeah.
you just press the home button on the website, you can pull it up.
All right, yeah, this is, I'll link to the
Mhm.
public hearing, so and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you all worked on the housing chapter.
all right, anything else? Do we have a motion to
It's-
adjourn?
Well, so our just our next meeting, just looking ahead, so would be, yeah, August
I was
6th.
gonna say October 1st, but no. Skip a few.
So there's, and there's
Yeah.
yeah, there's no need to
Um,
change it or anything.
August
So
6th.
6, yeah.
Cool. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. And I will be in person at that. Oh, actually, I have a pre-app appointment that day, but I think I'll be back in time. Let me see.
Do we need,
2:30 in New Hampshire. I think I should be able to make it. If not, I'll join via Zoom and come on my way back.
Yeah, you can always, if, there's an option to call in, that works. if you wanna do that.
Yeah.
Right.
all right. So, do we adjourn?
Well, let's
Yeah.
do.
All right, motion.
All right.
Motion.
Alrighty.